What was Jeff Beck like in real life? He died January 10th, 2023. In a previous version, we'll put the links to it in this video's description, Jim McCarty says he saw a vision of Jeff Beck shortly after he died. But what was he like to work with in the Yardbirds? This is Rock History Music.
I never knew him, but Jeff always seemed very serious to me. But was he? Was he a serious guy?
Well, he was a mixture. Yes, he was quite serious, but he had a great sense of humor at the same time. I mean, because he loved it. He really loved comedians, and if you went to his house for a party or something, there'd be a whole load of famous comedians there. Young guys, young comedians.
Really?
Yeah, really funny, isn't it?
See, that breaks the mold for me, which is good. So who was the fourth best guitarist after Clapton, Beck, and Page?
The fourth best.
Who's the fourth best?
What, in the group?
No, and just period.
Oh, well, I mean, Hendrix must be up there somewhere.
Well, Jeff had actually mentioned he was going through in an interview. He said he'd gone through a rough time. He left the band, and he said then Hendrix came in and wiped the floor with everybody. I'm paraphrasing what he had said, but do you remember his reaction to Hendrix? Jeff's?
I think he left us by then.
Yeah.
I think we were with Jimmy by then, and I don't know what Jimmy's attitude was, but we were so busy we didn't talk that much about Hendrix. But yes, I heard all this later about Jeff.
How long was Jimmy and Jeff in the band together? Because when Jeff came back,
yeah, it seems a long time, but it was only a few months, I think.
Yeah.
It might have been about 9 months. We did a tour with the Rolling Stones in the UK. It was the Rolling Stones and Tina Turner, but it was quite a short tour. It was, maybe just a dozen dates.
Do you remember Ike at all? Do you remember having dealings with him at all back then? Because they had a rapturous relationship.
No, we didn't get so involved with them, actually.
How did it affect you as a drummer? How did it affect playing with Jeff as opposed to playing with Eric?
Well, it was sort of very exciting, but Jeff is very up and down to work with. It can be quite difficult. I mean, playing live. You can have a great show with him, but you maybe have one great show and then two terrible shows because he wouldn't like his sound, and it was a lot of aggravation going on.
Is that a perfectionist thing, or is that something you don't understand?
Well, I guess it is a bit of a perfectionist, but this is really why he wound up on his own, because he could call all the shots himself, and everyone had to do what he said. But if he's one of a band and he's not happy, and then you get this terrible atmosphere going on and all this terrible sound, and he'd actually lose his temper a lot and kick his amps over and kick them out windows and things.
That.
You never knew what was going to happen.
At what point did you think that, okay, we got something here? What stage was it where you thought this might have longevity? I know you guys were around for like 63 to 68, but you did a lot in that time. Like you said, you have said many times, we lived lifetimes in that time. When did you know something was going on?
Well, I don't know. We always thought it was very, it always looked very healthy. It was building the whole time, all that time was, but we never thought it would go on like now. I mean, we never thought into the future anyway. It was just, oh, let's get the next tour sorted or the next record.
I noticed the mantra now, and every fan can understand this. If you ask any fan, just like you, like a rock and roller who's done all these great things, but if you ask a fan, okay, you expected them to know at the time when they were in their 20s, but you come up to any fan and ask them, were you thinking about being 50 when were you thinking about the future when you were 20? No one was.
No, exactly.
Why? Why would you think about being 50 or 60 when you're 20?
Well, that was a horrible thought.
Yeah. Well, I noticed that. What was it you think that for you, being the longest lasting member of this iconic band, what is it about Jim McCarty that somehow, I mean, every band has drama. Every band has good songs, bad songs. Every band has arguments. Every band has all this. Why is Jim McCarty the guy why do you think that was?
Well, maybe I was steady. I have been a bit up and down. I've had a few, I don't know whether you've read the book, but I went right down to depression, and it was very odd because it was up and down the whole life. But I've been quite steady, and I don't really, I don't have an ego about anything. You know what I mean? But maybe not enough because I'm not totally confident. I've never been, incredibly confident about myself. I think that was the thing about Clapton. He was very confident about himself.
Understand, I come from the same I went through the angst and the depression and all that stuff, but see, for me, I'm from a different generation where that even for my generation, no one understood depression in my film. Oh my God, that's a dirty word. You can have a broken arm, but that's a cliche, right? But you can't have depression.
Horrible. Horrible.
Yeah.
In those days it was very, very difficult and very, very lonely. A very lonely place to be. Difficult to make friends and to people to understand.
We'll have another part of our second interview with original Yardbirds drummer. He's still with the Yardbirds. Jim McCarty, of course, there was Eric Clapton that went through that band. Jeff Beck, Jimmy Page. What the? There'll also be links to everything that is Jim McCarty, how you can listen to his brand new single, the book She Walks in Beauty, which is about his dearly departed wife, Lizzie, and a lot more. If you want to make a donation to the channel, there are links at the very top for PayPal. You can join our Patreon, get early access. There are exclusive content from this interview, which only Patreon members can see. It will never see the light of day on YouTube, only on Patreon. Or you can join our regular Patreon, get early access to all our videos. Subscribe to our channel. It's important. Like our videos, share them, and comment on them as well. I'm John Beaudin. This is Rock History Music. Take care.